Don't.
All right, everyone, deep breath. It's episode 16.
I'm still taking a breath.
I don't even know what to start with.
Welcome to Into 99, where we have 99 cards, because competitor number 1, I'm Sherman.
I'm Hope.
I'm Daniel.
And I'm Brian.
We have Brian back for the last episode of the year.
I know I've missed some time.
It's actually kind of crazy to think about, though. This is the last one of the year.
Time has really flown by, and sorry for my speech slur there. Time has flown by, and I really, really want to thank everyone for all the time they've given listening. It really, really does matter to a lot of us. Thank you guys for joining us so much in 2019. We appreciate it. This is our New Year's episode.
Yeah, New Year's, you know how it is. Every year there's New Year's, and everyone's like, I'm going to do this New Year's resolution.
Not me. I never have resolutions.
I just like to say that.
Are you okay, bro?
One or two of the members of the podcast have been drinking tonight.
1 or 2? Are you kidding? Yeah, this is a late night podcast recording, guys.
It is 11:45 at night, and like I said, 2 of us have had a drink or 7, so
I guess that's you have to guess which ones.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, once they hear this and they listen to the whole
I feel
episode.
like they only need to guess the other one.
Yeah.
What do you mean by the other one? Hope?
Absolutely nothing.
Exactly. You've been drunk all night.
Oh, I don't even drink.
But again, welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you again so much for listening. We just hit 600 plays, and we're very, very happy about it.
Oh, yeah. Thanks so much, everyone. It's been crazy, especially in the last month. A lot of traction's gone through, you know, so like... And
almost 50% of our listeners have happened in the last month, and that's unreal.
We love you all.
Yeah, we really appreciate everyone who's given us the time to sit and listen to our random thoughts about a game that we all just simply love.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, for me at least, it's been almost unreal to see the amount of support and the amount of, like, excitement from the community that we've had locally and even through the Instagram, through the Facebook. It's been almost overwhelming to me personally. It's really incredible. Even anytime anybody at our local game store tells me that they've listened to our podcast, every single time I'm shocked that they would want to. And also,
Because we're boring.
Just like it gets me every single time somebody says that they like it. So just again, thank you everybody. Just everything.
So before we keep
Start
on
crying.
Yeah. I
do want to say a special thank you to one of the best supporters we've had in a long time. It is Zamberg MTG.
Oh, best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely thank you so much. Everyone check him out on Instagram. It's ZAMBERG MTG. Nope. Wait.
Z Amber.
Z Amber MTG. We got it.
And I think that stands for Zach and Amber. Regardless,
it does.
They have been awesome. I'm one of the people who's been drinking.
Lay off the booze, sir.
I wonder who the second person is.
Yeah.
But no, in a moment of real talk, yeah, we really appreciate you and we appreciate the support of the community. But now I'm done being sappy. Let's get on with the episode.
We have the best fans available, and I love it.
Okay. No, now we can know.
Sorry, headphone listeners.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, don't worry, I'll edit that in.
No, you won't. You never do.
I'll consider it.
You turned me off last time for a reason.
I'm not the second one drinking.
Sherman was off for half the mic at the episode, but he's on this time.
Yay. Okay, so with the episode, we were going to talk about New Year's resolutions, and what better way to do that is to decide to be a better player.
What can you do?
Well, there's lots of things you could do, but we're going to cover mainly 3 topics and go dive into it a little bit more. So, first thing we want to talk about is being honest with yourself. Okay?
Love that.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Let's look at it this way, all right? How many times have you had to mulligan your hand? Your opening hand. You're looking at it, it's like, okay, mulligan. And like we're playing casual, so most people are like, oh, just like go back to just draw 7. Who cares? We want to play Magic. We don't want you to go down to a 5 or 4 or anything like that. Just just make sure you have a good hand, and just don't be a jerk about it where you're just fishing for your combo pieces.
Even before we get into this point, though, you're the only common factor in your games. The players change every game in and out. The decks change in and out. You're the only thing that's consistent in your own games. And this is such an important point. Be honest with yourself, because you're the only one in all your games. You are the only one who is going to actually see what's going on. And this is such an important point because of that. You can take every other piece of advice, and it doesn't matter if you're not being honest with yourself.
Do you know what? Like, if I have to mulligan, like, 3 times, I just go, screw it, and I grab another deck.
Like, something needs to be edited in that deck.
Not even that. It's just, like, some decks just want to be rude for some point. And, like, I guess it's, like, each deck's its own thing. And I'm just, like, if I shuffle a deck, and it's like after shuffling it 3 times, if I'm not able to get the cards, I'm just like, do you know what? I've apparently wronged my deck somehow, and I gotta switch it up, and I grab another deck and I bring it in.
And you know what? Bad hands are gonna happen and stuff, right?
Of course.
Everyone has like bad hands. Sometimes
all the time.
Yeah, you're gonna statistically speaking, you're going to have times where you're gonna be mana flooded, or you're gonna be missing your land drops. All those different things. So your best bet, okay, keep going, guys. So
that's us cheersing.
Yeah. So, like, when it comes down to it, okay, like, you have to be honest with yourself. And one of the things is if you find yourself mulliganing your hand constantly, you definitely know you need to fix your mana base.
Well, a lot of people don't actually take advantage of mulligans, and they are such an important tool. Yeah. There's nothing worse than keeping a hand you think might be good because, you know what, I
just need to draw 2 more lands.
Yeah, I have the birds, I have a forest, like, this will be fine. But sometimes it just ends up not being fine. You aren't honest with yourself, you keep a hand that's bad, and you end up sitting there doing nothing all game, just pass.
Or even there's one of those cards in hand, like that's from your deck that you always, I always mean to play this. I'll hold on to it.
If I can just get it out, if I just hit 4 mana.
Yeah, and then somebody makes you shuffle your hand. But you know what I mean? Like, it's things like that where, like, you're not expecting Brian. Where you're not keeping the hand because it makes sense. You're keeping it because of, like, a pipe dream.
Yeah.
You know? You're thinking of turn 5 when you should be thinking of turns 1 through 3.
And that's why we always say card draw is king, you know, because like that always helps with your land drops, you know, or not missing your land drops.
Or drawing into what you need to ramp out to those instant cards.
Draw just helps with everything.
It's the best.
It is. And like, there's other things you need to be honest. Like, I hope you kind of touched on this, you know, where like you always say this one card has saved you from this one game. It's so memorable. Like, we all have that time when this one epic thing happened, and you had that one card, and you put it in everything.
Wave into a second sun.
I played Grave Betrayal, and it was the best.
Yeah, and now I have to have it in every deck because it wins me games.
I like Grave Betrayal. I have it in a lot of.
But it's like
this is
a call out. Is this an intervention?
Calm down, you're drinking there.
Packed. Sorry,
but it's
calm down, you're drinking.
But that's the thing, though. Like, everyone has those times when, like, the one card saved your butt so many times. Like, but you have to be honest with yourself. How often does it actually save you? You know,
how often does it see play?
If you're saying that it has saved your butt countless times, it deserves a seat.
It might, and at the end of the day, you might have won one game, and you might be just holding on to a memory of glory that's faded and no longer there.
So ancient Greece?
Yeah, exactly. You might just have a card that just, this was the one situation where Sarkon's unsealing and I cast 5 dragons in one turn and I ended up closing the game out with it because I had haste. You know, sometimes that's not going to be the case in every game, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to look at it and be like, all right, maybe this isn't working out so well every game.
Yeah,
maybe
it's only good in one kind of deck.
Yeah.
I have such a hard time. I'm like going through my decks, like when I'm mana cutting it, and I'm looking at the actual cards. And I'm just like, what have I seen lately?
Yeah.
It's so
And
easy to
what
get excited
hasn't?
with what can work in the deck.
Yeah. and then
and
what
ignore
hasn't?
what does.
Or what have you held on to in your hand going, this is going to be a bomb once I can actually play it. But I'm just like, okay, do you know what? I've never played this card.
Yeah.
Should I keep it?
That's meritless slumber for me in Muldrotha.
Yeah.
It's just that exactly. And for a long time, I just was not being honest with myself. Part of my New Year's resolution is I got to take that card out of the deck. It doesn't do anything.
And
You
let's
shoot
face
yourself, Daniel.
Yeah. And let's face it, okay? New cards are going to come out. Your deck might not be the same, or like might not have the same strengths as it used to, okay?
Exactly.
So, like, you know, like, you have a card, and sure, maybe in the past it did save you games, or it did win you games, but as new sets come out, new cards come out, and that card
The meta changes.
Yeah, the meta changes. That card might not be useful anymore.
You have to adapt in Commander.
I've had
Yeah.
there have been cards that, like, almost every single card that I've taken out of any deck is because I hold it in my hand and wish that I could discard it.
Yeah. That, I have to agree
So
with
true.
that.
So
So
true.
true.
It is so rough to draw a card and just know you're not going to play it. There's just no situation that comes up where you're like, you know what? I'm going to drop this. For me, that was even in my Selesnya Angels and stuff. It was rampaging Baloths, the landfall token creature.
That
I got
doesn't
rid
make
of it.
sense in that deck.
Such a good card.
So fast.
But it just,
It doesn't make any sense.
yeah, exactly. It did not fit the theme.
Just because it's green
a
doesn't mean
lot
that
of
it's good.
times I just found myself holding onto it in my hand. It didn't get played. There was other 6 drops I'd rather have, or if I had the mana available, 2-3 drops.
Or
But
even
right.
if you
How
have
much-
6 mana available, that's Shylai's ability
Yeah.
also. So I'd rather do that.
How much land did you have to play it?
Well, yeah, that's exactly it. I did have the land, and I knew I was
Or
going to
no.
ramp it out.
Sorry, in your hand, how much land do you have to play after it?
Oh, no, yeah, exactly. By turn 6, you've generally ramped out what you're going to ramp out. So it's not like you're dropping... In a Windgrace deck, something like that, sure, it's great.
Heck
but
yeah.
like we were talking about in our first initial point, it was being honest with myself. It was, is this seeing play? And it just wasn't. It was a card that every time I drew, there was just something better to play in the deck.
That's the thing. Like when I play my decks, when I go home and I'm like, do you know what? I'm gonna go through, man. I cut my decks and I'm gonna get ready for the next time I go and play. And when I'm going through my cards, I go sorcery, instant, enchantment, artifact, creature, and I go, what have I seen play and what have I not seen play? If I have not seen those cards at all, should I replace them with a card that might actually see play?
Yeah.
Or not? And I go through and I swap out those cards, because if a card that costs 6 and that I have never cast whatsoever, and I'm just like, okay, nope, I'm gonna replace it with maybe like a 2 or 3 CMC less.
Something, yeah.
And then I go and play it at my LMG, and I go, do I draw it? Do I play it? Does it work? Okay, awesome. Let's do this.
Yeah. It's really, really true. And, like, you know, going through your deck again, constantly, like, helps you figure out a lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay. It helps you decide, okay, if this card does it really help you or not? Are there cards that you have seen and you wanted to try? Like, we've mentioned this before as well. You know, this is one of the reasons why you can have a sideboard and you just switch it out in between games. You know, just like
Which
this
is
one card.
legitimately something I never, ever, 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 ever do.
Most people never change their deck out. They never are, back to the initial point, honest with themselves. They never say, you know what? Maybe I do need that artifact destruction. Maybe I do need that enchantment removal.
Just because I want to play a 9-drop creature doesn't mean I have room for a 9-drop creature.
Yeah, and we also have the opposite
Preach.
effect. Yeah, we also have the opposite effect. Okay, like how many of the cards in your deck make you an instant target, and can you survive when you do that? Yeah. Okay, so
someone dropped a Mindslaver the other day.
I don't know.
That was game on instantly.
I don't know what that is.
So
Mindslaver is an artifact where you tap 4 mana and take target opponent's turn.
Yeah, no. No, you don't. No, you do not.
Someone wants to Mindslaver me. That's fine. They're welcome to. But you're now my enemy and I hate you.
Yeah. But you know what? That person was not the greasiest.
No, you know what? They weren't.
How?
They weren't super bad with
They
it.
only tapped his lands.
Oh, yeah.
And that was it.
But
They didn't do anything.
Preface, though, that he hadn't untapped his lands.
No, but that's all they did. They passed the turn after tapping his lands. That was it.
It could have been worse.
No,
yeah.
Hell,
They
heck yes.
So I don't know if you saw in that hand, I was holding Kindred Charge.
Ooh.
He could have blown that Kindred Charge early and just made it a waste and said, pass.
Yeah.
But
There's
he
so
didn't.
many things you could do, you know? That's just one card. Like, what if you have, like, a dozen of those kinds of cards in your deck?
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, everyone always targets me. Like, this isn't fun. It's
You
like,
deserve it.
There's some cards that are just going to draw
You
the ire
friggin'
of the
deserve
board.
that.
Yeah.
If you are taking people's turns and you are doing junk, I'm sorry. You deserve whatever.
But it's a thing to
you
consider.
sow what you
But
reap.
it's you reap what you sow.
Yeah, that. I am the second one drinking this
But
evening.
you,
oh.
Potato Pavodka.
No, but what he's saying though is like if you're being that guy and then wondering why you're always arch enemy, it's like maybe you look in the mirror.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
wait a minute.
adjust accordingly.
I look beautiful in the mirror, and yet you three are always blaming me for everything.
Well,
If we can be honest,
do you need some Windex?
if we can
Wax
be
on,
honest,
wax off, Brian.
if we can be honest, some cards do just annoy players.
Yeah.
Cyclonic Rift. We do not Psych Rift in this household.
Yeah.
More
Warring
Cyclonic Rift, all I want.
If someone casts Psych Rift, I'm going to attack them till the end of the game. Doesn't
It
matter
doesn't
if they're
matter.
doing well.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter
I
anything.
will die for this.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Ooh, Brian, get mouthy.
Like, we're not saying you can't play these cards, obviously. You can totally can, but
I
am.
am saying you can't
I'm
play
saying
that
you can't
card.
play that in my
Household
house.
maybe.
If you play Psych Rift, you are a bad person.
Oh, I'm a bad person.
Don't threaten my morals.
German.
Yeah. I feel threatened
You know
right
what?
now.
That's
I'm,
wrong.
I'm leaving.
That's entire. Okay, bye.
And Brian's back.
Who's driving him home?
Sorry, Sherman, you gotta leave now.
Get
You gotta
yourself a
drive me
nice
home.
Uber. I'll call you a nice Uber. Don't you
Okay,
worry.
sounds good. I'll take that.
All right, perfect.
Okay. So,
But really quickly before we go on, some cards do just draw the ire of the table. They make you just
The
They
Ire.
don't-
Who is he?
they don't make
you're
the,
using
Is
like
Shakespeare?
strange language.
they don't make the table happy, and sometimes you have to balance that of like, sure, this might be great, it might fit the theme of my deck, but
It might be super strong.
do I want to draw the aggro of 3 people for this one card? Is it worth it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's completely fair.
And
that,
sometimes it's
that also
not.
that also falls into the realm of playing the politics a little bit, though.
yeah.
Oh yeah, you gotta play the
Because
politics.
just because you can play super strong things doesn't mean it's going to be your best option.
Well, the thing is, should you play that now?
or
or
play it on
later.
turn 9.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
'Cause,
that's
like,
the other thing.
I'm going off and I'm just playing these cards and I'm like, boom! And you're just like, whoa.
We're gonna take him down a little.
Yeah,
Whoa.
there's just some things that hit the board and suddenly people aren't happy with you.
Yeah, you want to bring everything down a notch. That's why you get the board wipes out. That's why
And
you
some
get
things that you play you cannot come back from
No.
playing. That is a good thing
Blood
to
Moon.
know. Yeah, exactly. You drop a Blood Moon against somebody in a 5-color
I
deck.
love Blood Moon, though.
Oh, Blood
Dropping
Moon?
in a
Oh,
blood
don't
5-color
start, Sherman.
deck. Get out.
Blood
Don't
Moon is a
start.
great card,
It's in
but
my
again,
Zara deck.
if someone's playing a 5-color deck and they, you're tapping all of their non-basics down into mountains, they're not happy.
Yeah, no one's gonna be happy, especially like if I was playing my group hug and all I can tap for is mountain.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was playing an early game and turn 2 Tempting Worm turned it into a non-basic lands normal tap, a back to basics as it were. And I sat there for 6 turns of the game, doing not a thing.
That's brutal.
I had $4,000 of lands on deck. Sitting there looking at a tapped volcanic island every turn.
That's nasty.
Fuming.
I can't help you with that if the player to my left was playing that. But my tempting worm definitely was wanting to tempting you.
But yeah, so that's a little bit of a start of one of the New Year's resolutions, is just honestly being straight up with yourself. What works, what doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. So the second point we have, all right, and this is we're all guilty of this. I have to admit it. I don't know you guys, but I do this from time to time.
I do this all the time.
Yeah, but when you're playing, you need to be in the game. Okay, so you need to pay attention.
Good etiquette.
Yeah, it's good. Like,
that sounds so basic, but it's so important, and so many of us, myself included, I know me and Brian have done this specifically, which is just not paying attention.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You start chit-chatting to people, you start catching up, you go talk to somebody that works at the store. Oh, your friend just walked in the door. I have to go to the bathroom. I want to go buy a bag of chips. Is it my turn yet?
Sometimes you need a snack, yeah.
Is it my turn?
No. Or even if you're asking the player that previously went, what did you play and what's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they go through describing it while the other player's playing their turn.
They play their turn.
And then you're
the
just
second
like,
time.
whoa, what's happening now?
Yeah.
Because
You're
I
always
was
a
getting
turn
caught
behind.
up. Yeah. Because some of the cards in Commander has a whole lot of text.
Well,
yeah.
The other
And then
thing
you're
too
just
is you
like-
might have wanted to respond to that card.
Yeah.
And if you're not paying attention, suddenly...
You missed that opportunity.
But you know what?
It
A lot
is.
of people in
Phases have
Commander,
passed.
a lot of people in Commander don't read their cards.
I know.
Oh yeah.
They're just like, do you know what? I tapped this and I played this, and you're just like, sorry, I have not heard of this card before.
Yeah, I'm the biggest proponent of like, what's that? What's that?
Yeah.
What's that? What's that? And it's kind of annoying.
And they
to
always
some
say,
people. However, like, you don't have to read it to me. I can read. Just hand
Yeah,
it to
but
me.
you
I'll
know
read
what?
it myself.
They already said
but-
go, and the other players already go.
And I'll tell them to stop.
Yeah.
So I have no problem with that, because as somebody that, again, like we said it before, but there are thousands of different Magic cards, so there's absolutely no way that I can know them all. As well, I being a relatively new player, it's hard. Watch out for the mic. Being a relatively new player, like, there are just a lot of things that, like, you guys, all three of you, know just
Off the top of our heads.
Yeah,
You just
exactly.
know.
And constantly, that's why constantly, even on the podcast, I know that nobody can see me, but I'm constantly, like, mouthing to the guys. I'm just like, what does that mean?
What does that do?
Yeah.
Tell me, read what the card is.
That, like, it happens all the time, and like, oh my God. Maybe this was a bad idea.
Tell me more.
I am
Like, does
sober
he
as a
have
judge.
card?
Yep.
A very shoddy judge you would not trust the calls of.
I wouldn't
True.
trust you.
Oh boy. So, but like, paying attention is a huge thing. Okay, like, and Brian, you already mentioned this too. Is reading the card as well is a big deal. Okay, like making sure you understand the card, what's going on, so you can respond properly. And let's face it. Okay, if you want games to go faster, pay attention. All right, everyone like. There's times when you're playing a game and just like, oh man, this is taking so long.
I have to tag you on that.
What?
It's not that I have to pay attention. Is that the players that are playing their card
Yeah.
do not announce what they're playing
Or what it does.
or what it does.
If it's not a common card, I tend to don't even care. I just read what it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that can take up time. So, like,
But that's not a big deal if that takes time. But you can give the Cliff's notes.
Well, no. If
I'd
that's
rather
the player
people
that's
know,
playing
because
it.
I've had so many games where I'm just something good has happened and they're like, "Well, I didn't see you play that." I like to let everyone know what things do
Yeah.
Yes.
when I played them, because then they have a chance to respond and no one can
Yep,
complain.
exactly. And that's the
It's
big
just
thing.
good etiquette on both sides.
Exactly, and that's the thing that Commander kind of relax, because if the four of us are not playing together,
Yeah.
and we're playing against someone else, and they're just tapping lands, playing cards, and then you're just like,
Yep.
Yeah.
what?
How
what?
do you play Magic? Uh-huh.
Well, no. Okay.
There.
I know.
We
They're
understand we
casting
tap lands for
spells.
mana to play spells to do things. But if no one's not announcing what they're doing, it can come down to like, tap, I win. And it's like, so wait a minute. What did you play to get you to this point?
We need to back up.
Yeah, exactly.
That is one of the worst things to hear in Magic is, when did you play that?
Yeah, exactly. I hate it.
It feels like you're accusing me of something.
Because for a lot of people, they don't know when
everything.
things came out, and then that's obviously their backtrack of, well, when did this come out?
Yeah.
When did you drop that Felidar Sovereign? Because I wasn't watching.
Because Commander's a lot of politics.
Yep.
So, like, if I'm playing with the four of us here, and I'm talking to Daniel, I'm just like, okay, because we got to do this, because we got to stop Sherman from going off on this, and then Hope's like, and you're just like, what just happened? And you're just like, okay, can we please go back a turn? Can we catch up on what was played? Because politicking can do a lot. And it can take you away from what actually is being played on that turn.
Yeah.
And I hate to call you out, Hope. But you don't do that. But
you're just as an example.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fine. But
exactly.
But
I don't do that at all. I'm the exact opposite. I read everything. I take forever. I'm like,
and
I played this.
And I congratulate you.
I
on
interrupt
that.
people if they're if they're not paying attention. They're talking about other things. I'll be like, I played this.
Yeah.
I'm like, and if you don't, and then you can't tell me that you didn't hear me or you didn't know I played it, because I will vocally be like, I played this card. And yeah, exactly. Constantly though, like even really little things, I'll be like, I'm playing a Soul Ring. I'm now going to tap the Soul Ring and put in Lightning Greaves.
And that's the thing that.
But it's like, it's such a basic, like, turn one play.
But you know what? That's a basic Magic.
It's a courtesy.
Thing. No. That's not even a courtesy. It's a basic Magic thing that everyone needs to know what's being played.
Totally.
Yeah. And that's why we always say you have to announce it. You have to say what you're playing. Like, just say, like, okay, like, I'm casting this creature.
Yeah.
It's a 2/2 and it does this, okay? So
again, so if somebody's not super, like, somebody like can't read your cards from where they're sitting, or whatever it may be.
Especially if you have like a pot of 6 people or something like that.
But what's the thing? How many Magic cards are there?
Thousands.
There's tons. There's over 20,000.
20,000, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is, I don't know all 20,000 cards.
No.
So you need
does.
to pipe up. And you gotta go, I am playing this.
Yeah.
And it does this.
And conversely, you shouldn't be afraid to ask.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's something like when I very first started, I was just like, oh, I don't really want to go play at a store.
Well, it's very nervous.
I'm like, I don't want to go to a store and play because I don't know all these cards and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, nobody does.
But it does not hurt to ask. Like,
no.
Hey,
no.
What does that card do?
And I've never encountered a player that's like, you don't know what that does.
Yeah, like we run into
snoot.
We run into people more often that they're like, "Oh, let me see that card. That's great. Let's take a picture of it."
Yeah, exactly.
I have taken pictures of thousands. No.
Well,
no,
I think
sorry,
that's
not
the best
thousands
thing
of
to
cards,
do.
hundreds of cards.
It's very easy to get excited about a card and be like, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I got a lady boner going.
Okay.
Sorry, excuse my language.
Brian, geez.
You're about to be turned off.
Yeah. Daniel has his finger over the...
Is that my strike two?
That's strike two.
I don't know, like how many times have you hit the mic so far?
I'm gonna have to scream over everyone else's mic.
Okay, so that's part of paying, like being in the game, paying attention, reading the cards, stuff like that. But there's also other things about being in the game. So another thing we want to talk about is using your opponent's resources against each other.
Yeah.
Okay. So like if Brian has something that can destroy a creature for me, and that's the only way for me to get through.
Are you willing to make a deal with me?
Well, once again, that comes into politics, right?
Are you willing to make a deal with me?
I'm always willing to make a deal with you, but the question is...
I don't negotiate.
Okay, let's destroy Hope.
Well... I don't know, because half the time when I make a deal with you, you backstab me.
Whoa.
No, you totally do.
Whoa.
You totally do.
Whoa.
2 turns later.
Oh, yeah, 2 turns later.
Exactly, so that's fine.
Yeah, when we say like 4 turns later, it's like, for Sherman, I was gonna win if I did this. Like, You jerk. But we want to use other people's resources, to help us out here. So, and it doesn't matter, and
make your enemies fight each other like little puppets.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh, Puppet Master Hope going off over there.
Yeah. Real cash. But real cash. Don't tell them my secrets. Nobody ever thinks that I'm engaging in any sort of politics.
But politics is part of being a game as well, though. Okay,
Yeah.
and for all those
I'm a gamer.
Yeah, and for all those people that are like, okay, I'm not a big fan of politics and anything. Once again, I find that you will have more fun playing Commander with everyone when you do engage in politics. Okay, because when you're striking deals, you're trying to point out certain things that are to your advantage or to someone else's advantage.
And inadvertently, by doing that, taking the focus off of yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So
look
at how bad he is.
Yeah. And you might make an enemy at the same time because of that, but it's not a big deal because you're trying to be in the game, you're being a part of it, you're being engaging, okay? Yeah. And the more engaged you are in the game, the
better it's gonna be.
One is the better it's gonna be, but the side effect of it is that people want to play with you more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're fun to play with.
Yeah, you're fun to play with because you're willing to do, you're doing all these different things that people are like, oh yeah, I did this and then you're helping me out and everything.
Exactly.
But also too is that you become a little bit more trustworthy and they're more willing to strike a deal with you because you're being so upfront. You're being very friendly.
Totally.
All right.
Friendly could turn awkwardly very fast.
It can be sometimes, but other times, it's a how can I say it? It depends on the situation. Okay,
it does. It very heavily depends on the situation.
Yeah, because if I'm playing a spiky deck, it's going to be really hard to politic with other people.
I would not politic with you in ages, but do you know what? You're not the one playing those decks.
Well, no, I don't play with I play a lot of janky decks, right? So I have to politic a lot, okay? So, and that's going to be another point later on, but part of being paying attention is doing the politics and everything, using your opponent's resources.
Yep.
Also, even if you're not doing well in a game, okay? Let's say you are doing the worst, you're mana flutter, or whatever.
Stay in the game.
Yeah, stay in the game. You never know what will happen.
I was literally talking to Daniel about this 3 days ago, and I was like, I don't think I've ever scooped. And he's like, what? I'm like, I've never scooped. Because in my mind, either you're going to kill me. If I'm at a point where I could scoop, chances are it's because you're going to kill me right away.
Yeah.
But if you don't, the only times I've ever been in a situation where people have told me, it's the end, the game's done, and I've stayed in the game and I haven't died the next turn, I've won every single time.
But you know what? That
because
is...
I'm willing to try.
Yeah. But that thing comes to... So my only rules to not scooping is Annihilator. If you swing at me with Annihilator, I have to sacrifice my lands.
Yeah, and try to rebuild.
I'm sorry.
No,
if I have to sacrifice lands, I'm done. I'm sorry, but I'm scooping. But it comes down to that.
You have to rebuild from nothing, and they're just going to
kill.
Then it's not
your
fun.
mana is your base, which is 1 over 1 over 1 over 1. And as soon as I have to sacrifice those,
it hurts.
Sorry,
It physically hurts. Yeah,
and it
that's
hurts.
Different.
I can understand that, but even for me, I'll stick it out just because I don't know what I might come up with.
Exactly.
Okay?
I don't know what my next draw is going to be.
Yeah.
There's 100 cards.
A 6 mana cost card where you're like, oh, I just got hit with an Annihilator. I'm down to 2 lands.
Yeah, but
no.
But you're not going to
sacrifice.
Yeah, in general, yeah. But even with Annihilator, okay, there's a good chance that you're not going to sacrifice your lands to that extent. Okay, you're always going to try.
Depending.
The situation is always depending. It doesn't matter. Okay, it always comes down to.
I might have 1 creature and then only have 5 lands.
Yeah,
discarding 3 lands and gone.
But it depends on the other person. You also have 2 other allies now.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're all trying to work together.
Well,
you never know. You never know. If it's true, yeah. But like, if
you might
if it
have
is
wronged
sound too-
them in the previous Commander game, and they're like, "Do you know what? I'm not going to help you.
I
You deserve
hope he
what
dies."
you deserve what you get, and
But
you're
the
going to
point that
die."
we're trying to make is that there's value in
If.
holding on.
no, but you're being such a jerk.
This is about to be
No,
a
no,
dark
no.
side.
Do you know what? Like, I hate.
I agree.
I
agree
hate
that-
scooping. I hate scooping, and the only time that I will scoop is if I get hit by Annihilator and I have to
understand.
sacrifice
I agree.
lands.
I understand.
That is my only if, and if not, I will hold in there. I will play my cards.
I will
and
hold
I will
out for a
go from
hero.
there.
For me, like, even if you hit me with an Annihilator, I don't like it. Like, no one likes being hit with an Annihilator.
No, it
but
hurts.
yeah, it always hurts. Unless it's a one-on-one, okay? Even if I have one other person there as an ally, I'm still gonna go through with it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the other person is holding. I don't know what we can pull off. But, like, once again, you never know what you can do. You never... Because when you're playing your deck, you might come up with something that you've never thought of before, okay? And that's another thing to, like, help with creativity as well, okay?
I guess so. Yeah, that's a true point.
So, like Brian, like, you know, you've seen me play many times, and I'm, like, in last place or whatever, and I'm hurting bad. But I don't scoop, and I come back and I end up winning. Yeah, and I tend to come back and win. Why? Because
The power of the jank. Believe in the jank. The jank is within you.
Because no one believes that I can do anything good, and then next thing you know, I swing in with, like, I don't know, like 12 Thopters, and one of them's
that
an
a lot
8/8.
too. I get
You are one with a jank.
I get severely underestimated.
Yeah. So, but like being in the game is a huge thing, and I really wish more people would
be more present.
Yeah, be more present. Okay.
I feel like that's a good like life advice, but like Magic also.
Well, yeah, like but I'm thinking about Magic right now.
Oh boy. Okay, so
Don't look at me.
2.5 strikes.
Really? You're counting that against me? Okay. I apologize, Hope, and I hope you
Your dad
forgive
jokes
me.
are no longer welcome.
My dad jokes? I don't even know I was giving out dad jokes.
That was 100% a dad joke.
Okay, so that's 2 points. Okay, we want to bring up one more point here. Okay, now one more point. Putting a challenge for yourself. Okay, and this challenge, like it can be different things. Okay, but we're gonna focus here on deck building.
Yeah.
Winning, really? I'm gonna put a challenge for myself. I'm not gonna ever lose. I'm gonna win every single game.
Oh no. But at least say have
I just want to win
a positive win record.
I don't care about having a positive
Me either.
record or not. Okay, it makes no difference to me. What I enjoy is making decks that like not win, but they work very well and they're fun to play.
So synergenic.
You know me. I play a lot of synergy
And
jank and lots
Book
of stuff
deck.
like that. My song tribal
all
deck.
my stuff must have books in it.
True.
So, but like that's the thing though. Okay, putting in a challenge for yourself, especially for building a deck, makes a huge difference. Okay, because like we're all like okay, like we believe that we're pretty good when it comes to building decks. All right, but at the same time, like we tend to build the same thing again and again. Okay, so like every time we're playing green, we're gonna throw in that cultivate, we're gonna throw in that Kodama's Reach, we're gonna do the land ramp dance and
Lana or elves and all that good stuff.
Bird of Paradise, you name it, blah blah blah. Okay, but it tends to be like the same like 15-20 cards. Okay, and then the rest is like cards related to your commander or whatever, or maybe you switch up a land or two. It's not a big deal. But like, if you really want to challenge yourself, do something different, okay? Like, try building a budget deck, okay?
Yeah.
So, like, set a limit. Say, like, you want to build a deck that's like $50 or $100 or something. It doesn't matter. You set a limit, okay? And this isn't... When we say set a limit, this includes the cards you currently have in your collection, okay? So, like, if you set a $50 budget, but you have like 90% of your, like 90 of the cards that you have, okay, are like $20 or $30 more expensive. And you're like, oh, look, this is a budget deck because I only like spent $50 on it. That doesn't count. That is not a budget deck in the first place.
You spend the money.
Yeah. Okay. So like literally, like if you have the cards, great. Okay. But add that amount into whatever your budget is. Okay. Yeah. And just go from there. So like if you build $100 budget, don't go over that $100. All right. And
screw $100 budget. Let's go to 100. Go big or go home.
So, when it comes down to it, all right, like when you do something like this, it literally forces you to try to find cards that are similar to what you're used to, okay, but are cheaper and they're like people just have never seen it or never heard of it and all that stuff. It really does make you more creative.
You're forced to be more creative.
Yeah. So it's like, I could throw in that Dictate of Erebos, but what if I just didn't put that in and put in the Butcher of Manicure, okay? Yeah. Or what if I didn't use those Cultivates and everything and I started using more like Wood Elves or something like that, like creatures that, pop in and fetch me lands. Who knows? You're playing Madrotha, like... How about you play like all those traveler's amulets and everything that everybody has an abundance of? Mm-hmm. You never know. Okay, stuff like that really does make it more creative for you, or give you a creative outlet.
Yep.
So, another thing you can do is have a special theme. Okay.
Yeah.
So
stick to it.
Yeah, stick to it. Okay, stick to the theme. Like as Brian was saying earlier, like I have a lot of janky decks. Okay, but with my jank, I stick to the theme. I don't deviate from it, okay? And I have a lot of jank decks. So, but they all do really well because, one, I am being honest with myself on what does work and what doesn't work.
Yep.
Okay? I force myself to try to find these cards, but when to fit the theme. But when I do, I have to be very, very creative on how the synergy works, how things will work together, how things will combo off. Because there's only so many cards with book artwork on it where I can, make it work.
Or I was going to say that are actually viable.
Yeah. It's like, okay, like, I have all these like artifacts, because artifacts is a huge factor in it. Okay. So, but I have Karn, Sign of Urza when he's holding a book so I can put in that Planeswalker and then I have these giant constructs, that helps really, really well. Yeah, it still counts. All right. So having a special theme definitely helps with that, and that is a great challenge. Like a lot of people are starting to do this. I find because it's fun at the same time. Like your goal isn't always to win. Your goal is just to have fun, to make sure your stuff
like
works.
My only
that's
goal
what the
Magic.
game's about, right? It is about fun.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I go for the win. Go win, everybody. Go big or go home.
No, not for me. I like to just have fun.
Yeah, same.
So
boo.
Oh man, but there's like other things. Okay, so like another thing is like try not playing with your favorite color. So like if you're good in black, okay, or like your favorite color is black, try not playing black at all. All right, play the opposite. Play white.
It's hard for me because I was talking about this yesterday. I was like, I don't think I have like a color that I don't like.
Yeah.
Because I started with 5 color.
Well, so
I have an affinity to all of my babies.
Well, what if you play colorless? Play like with a colorless commander, have a bunch of waste.
Huh?
An artifact deck?
Yeah, I guess I could do an artifact deck.
Wastes for days.
Waste for days.
I was gonna say I already have an Eldrazi deck.
Boo! Boo!
I wholeheartedly support it.
But when you start playing other colors that you normally don't play or you don't enjoy, okay, like for instance, for me, green.
Yeah, me,
okay.
Blue.
Yeah, you
me,
learn.
Whatever.
Anything that isn't red. You learn different things, and you're exposed to different mechanics, and it makes you a better Magic player.
Yeah,
all rounded. Yeah,
and that's the thing, because like when you expose yourself to it, when you're facing other opponents with playing those same colors that you normally don't like, now you're more familiar with what's going on. Okay, so that's what's like not playing with your favorite color, just trying something different. All right. This next point I have is my personal favorite. Okay, it's playing with.
Oh, we know.
Oh yeah. Ooh wee. It's playing with older mechanics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ugh.
So one of my jank decks, once again. Okay, I have Masako the Humorless.
Banding.
Yeah, I play with banding of all things, and for those
Something I had never heard of. I didn't even know this existed until you happened.
Yeah.
Read it up.
So banding, they removed it after 4th edition or something like that. I think, if I recall, I don't know. Okay,
It was just too confusing of a mechanic.
oh, it's so confusing. Okay, like we can explain it, but like we've explained it a few times in other episodes. But basically, like what I use the banding with for Masako is because Masako says like I can block with tapped creatures anyways.
Yeah.
So I'll tap my creatures to crew vehicles. Okay. And then the vehicle will attack, okay? But when I'm blocking, I can just, like, band together my defenses.
Make it big.
Yeah, and just make them bigger. So they're like a boost at the same time.
Yeah.
So they'll boost each other on the defense, but I still have that offensive ability, okay? And you can still crew vehicles even when the artifact is tapped.
Yeah.
So it's even funner because of that. So it's like, okay, like I have this cultivator's caravan, okay, I'll still tap this 3-power person, and then I'll band it together with the cultivator, and then now it's like an 8/8 or a 9/9.
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of old mechanics that you can look into. Like there's things like flanking, maybe shadow, phasing.
What's shadow?
Shadow is
Shadow's awesome.
Shadow's awesome, yeah.
Shadow, it basically says that like if your creature has shadow, only other creatures with shadow can block it.
And it can only block creatures with shadow.
Yeah. So it's like the same thing with like horsemanship
Yeah.
from Portal 3 Kingdoms, things like that, right? So like you cannot either choose like these abilities that no one knows about or and make things unblockable.
Hilarious.
Or you can choose other things like flanking, where if you attack and someone blocks you and they don't have flanking, they get a -1/-1 until
Oh
it,
yes,
in
I
the turn.
knew that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that one.
So there's so many different abilities.
No, you don't.
Sorry?
I like it. I'm into it.
Mm-mm.
But they're like you never know what will happen, okay? And as they come up with more and more mechanics, okay, as Wizards comes out with more and more mechanics, you never know what will work with older cards.
Exactly.
Okay.
There's very even just again, I know we always go back to it, but using the example of your banding vehicles deck, like that works together so beautifully.
Yeah.
Like it just synergizes so nicely, and
Yeah.
like all those vehicles came from Kaladesh.
Kaladesh, yeah.
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 Like that's
And-
that's not even knowing like that they would go together.
It's
yeah. Well, that's what I mean. It
Mhm.
just works beautifully. Something that like has no business being in the same deck.
No business.
none whatsoever, and that's the beauty of it, because when you start playing stuff like that in your LGS or whatever, or against friends, they're just like confused at what they can do to stop you.
I was confused at what you were trying to do.
Old mechanics
What are you
interesting.
doing?
Like, why do you have two ones? I
Yeah.
don't care that they banned. Yeah, you can keep them. I whatever.
Wait,
And then you're just
what?
like, hey, here's a Parhelion.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
they're swinging for
Hey.
4/4 with my 2/1/1s, and you're just
Yeah.
like,
It was
what?
nasty. It was like, what's that part of Kieran?
It is a weird mechanic.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is one of the weirder ones for sure. And
but it's cool.
Yeah.
And like it works beautifully with vehicles. It works beautifully in having Masako. Like you thought the whole thing out, janky as it is. It's very well thought out. It's a very cool deck. It's a very cool combination that I would have never I never would have seen it otherwise. And if it wasn't for you kind of having this self-imposed affinity for jank, and that, like
I've never played.
that-
I wouldn't have put it any
that-
better. than
yeah,
that.
like that deck would never exist.
yeah, and that's the thing, like, like as great as the online resources are for like EDH Rec or Gather or all those other sites,
which are wonderful,
which are fantastic. Everyone has their own opinion and all that stuff. But
I think that there's a lot of value in those, no matter what anybody says.
Especially if you're a new player.
Especially the Gatherer. Just to search like, I like this, and then you can see all the cards.
Yeah, and it's fantastic.
Well,
but
it's good.
Yeah, but at the same time, like having these limitations makes you more creative.
Forces you to think outside of your little box, right?
Yeah, okay. You're not always using the same removal or the same things.
Or even the same mechanics that your play group uses.
Yeah,
exactly. That's like a circle that you can get really locked into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and like we all do that. Like the only reason why I started getting into Jank is because my play group was in an arms race.
Yeah.
Okay. And
arms race, you mean?
We've been in
I like to be better than you?
Yeah.
No, it's more like, hey, I just dropped $300 on this new deck, okay, to add on to whatever I had before. It's like, okay, you know, and
I know I have to.
Yeah, and I got sick and tired of it, okay? So I'm just like, well, what can I do?
Yeah.
And because I wanted
Let's
to
make this fun again.
Yeah, I wanted to make it fun again. I wanted to make it so that we're not spending so much money just to one-up each other.
Yeah.
I don't want power level of 8 or higher. I want to bring it back
to be the minimum.
Minimum. Yeah, I want to bring it back where I can sit down with a group of people that I don't know and be like, okay, what power level are you guys? Oh, two of you guys have a pre-con and one of you guys have like a deck that you threw together as probably like power level like 5 or 6. Okay.
I can still play with you.
I can still play with you and not feel like, you know, I have to sandbag and not be mean.
Yeah.
I want to be able to, you know, play whatever deck I have.
And actually play it.
Yeah, and actually play. All right. And that's how I got started in Jank. It's just like I wanted to lower the power level of everything. And just so I can play, one, lower the arms race for my play group. And two, so I can go around and play against anyone and be like, you know, be comfortable whether they're new or they're experienced players. And even experienced players, if I play against someone and they have like a power level of 8 or 9, and I'm playing against like with a 6 or 5 or 6, I don't care. Okay, I'm still gonna play my Jank because I have fun with it.
Yeah. That's how I approach every single game of Magic. I'm like, I don't care if you're coming at me with an Emery deck.
Yeah.
That's really all that matters, as long as you are having fun and visually looking around and going, they're having fun as well, but I am going to win this game by playing this card.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, like once again, all of these challenges here also go back to politics, okay? Yeah. That's why I like playing politics. I like using politics in the game because like when I play Jank decks or decks that are very, very budget, okay? Like I'm not saying budget decks can't be powerful. Like Brian, your Nikia deck was crazy and that was only $25, okay? And like you're a threat almost every single time.
Yeah, that really overloaded really quick.
Yeah. But like overall, like I come up with new strategies when it comes to being political. Okay? So if I'm playing something, you know, it's like how I said, like, you know, like I'll play a land and I'll look around and then be like, oh, did I play a land or not? You know, and I count all my lands like, oh, I did play a land. But so everyone thinks I have an extra land in my hand, which I really don't. I might have a counter spell or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, or when I'm
green.
Yeah, I'm using a Void Fate, okay, you know, or Life Force.
I am amazed by you calling off these cards by names.
But like that's the thing, you know, like even when I play my book Tribal deck, you know, one of my political things that I do is I joke around with people about my deck. So I always joke around saying like, guys, why are you a threat? Like, I'm not a threat. Okay, I'm like Amazon. Okay, in the early days, I have books. I am delivering books to you. I'm giving you books. I have heard of this new technology called a drone because my commander is Psi Master Thopterus, and when I cast an artifact, I have a 1/1 Thopter. So this drone is delivering a book to you. Oh, sorry, it crashed into you, did 1 damage. Oh well, but it's only 1 damage. This other person has a creature that's a 3/3.
Hey,
3
Amazon
is bigger
Prime
than 1.
Doesn't deal that 1 damage to me.
What?
Amazon Prime doesn't deal 1 damage to me.
Well, you
Feels
didn't
89.
pay me.
Whoa.
There is a membership fee. Did you pay?
Sorry, I wasn't aware that I had to pay for that.
That's why I have Versus Study in there, so you can pay that membership fee.
Oh, okay. I will start paying that from now on. I don't want to take that extra damage.
But, like, when it comes down to it, okay, setting a challenge for yourself for building a deck, okay, whether it's like there's a budget or a special theme, or you're playing like a different an old mechanic or something that no one's really seen, it makes for more interesting games. Okay, it makes for very interesting interactions, and then you'll notice that your play group, okay, and others that eventually join your play group, they start to try new things as well. They try coming up with new decks. You know, like I'm playing around with my Athreos deck right now, where I'm doing nothing but like adventures.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll cast, cast the adventure, then I'll cast the creature, and then I'll kill the creature, so it goes back to my hand hopefully, and then I'll cast the adventure again. So it's like I double the size of my library because I'm casting like 2 spells. So
which is actually a very interesting.
Adventure's such a cool mechanic.
Yeah.
It was a great idea that they did that, and especially the way that they did it in Thornell Drain with the storybooks and everything, all that stuff. It's fantastic. So, but those are the points that we have. Okay, these are the points that we have for our New Year's resolution for having you try to be a better Commander player in the next year.
Player,
yeah, or a better
Best
Magic
of luck
player
to you
overall.
Yeah. So let us know on Instagram, Facebook, or our Discord. What are your New Year's resolutions in life, or if you have any specifically to Magic the Gathering?
But yeah, that's the show for tonight. Thank you once again for sticking with us throughout the year.
All of the support so far, and
I have to say we love you guys.
Yeah, I'm
super
definitely
love
looking
you
forward
guys.
to next year. Thank you guys so much.
We'll see you in 2020.
See you in 2020.
That was Brian. Stop.
Touch me, sexual harassment.
Thank you guys so much for all your support.
Love you guys.